Well, Teck shares have given up nearly all of today's gains, and Andrew Bell is here with some insight into perhaps what investors are thinking today, or at least analysts.
Well, the focus now goes on to copper because, of course, they're getting rid of the coal, and it looks like the valuation they're getting for valuing the coal business at about $9 billion US is respectable. I mean, they look like Teck is in line for cash payments of more than $8 billion here. We heard earlier from the company's CEO, and he sure enough reminded us, my focus now in particular is copper. Let's have a listen.
The primary focus of our strategy is the development of the copper projects that we have in the portfolio today. That's quite unique to Teck. It's very hard to find other companies with maybe one good copper project right now, and we have multiples of them. So we're in an envious position there, and we think that that is the best route to unlock value for our shareholders.
There's one burr under the saddle here, though, cost overruns at their big Chile mine. Now, we're going to hear from an analyst on commodities, starts at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Nick Giles with B. Riley Securities, and he said in late October, he said big cost overruns there. Renewed delays, significant cost overruns have severely undermined the market's confidence in Teck's ability to execute on large growth projects. So perhaps Teck has dirtied its beb a bit with the failure to bring that project in on time. And we've heard that they are reevaluating now QB2. They're going to see how that goes before they decide to put any more money into it. So that is one cloud on Teck's horizon. So he's focused on copper. And of course, that's where all the hype is. Now, let's get on. We heard from Alan Small as well, frequent guest on Market Call. Yeah. And he discussed the possibility of a special payout to Teck investors here. Jeffrey says they could have as much as $5 billion US available. Let's have a listen to what Alan Small had to say.
The valuations are very reasonable. We'll see what Teck does with the proceeds of the sale. I think if they announce some sort of special dividend or something, give back to the shareholders, I think that'll just sweeten the name even more.
So what about, what comes next here? Because the deal's out there, but it's not a done deal yet.
It's not going to be simple because, of course, Glencore has been implicated in bribery and corruption. They had to pay a massive settlement, one of the biggest ever in Britain, for example. And we did hear when they were bidding for the whole company this spring, David Eby, the BC Premier, saying, I don't think this is a suitable company. But now that the copper is out of the mix, it's for now, that could speed up the approval. We heard from Bill Harris on this, and he noticed how Glencore was keen to wrap itself in a Canadian flag here. Let's have a listen.
Half the press release is basically saying we're going to keep this in Canada. We're going to have offices in Canada. This is going to be a Canadian company. This is Glencore Canada. So everybody's jumping through hoops. I think also if you look at where the coal, the market is overseas, you've got a global trader, it actually totally makes sense for a company like Glencore to do this. And now just and there doesn't seem to be any logical reason why Ottawa wouldn't, other than these things just take time.
Andy, it's really interesting because, when we were first hearing about this takeover potential with Glencore, it was for all of Teck.
Right.
Now it's just down to the coal business.
Yeah.
But what about the future of, you talked about copper and that Teck's going to be focused on that, but could there be other takeover potential here of Teck's copper business, of what it has left?
It is seen as a potential prize. Now, they have a standstill agreement with Glencore, whereby Glencore is apparently banned from making an approach for 2 years. I don't know if Teck could give them permission. But we heard on that from Dalton Barreto and Bill Harris on this possibility of Teck being taken out. Let's have a listen.
Now Teck is set to actually be taken over again. That kind of, okay, now it's a pure play base metal company.
It should be of interest to pretty much every major out there. That doesn't mean that's a deal is going to get done because, I'll remind investors that there's still a dual class share structure where the Keeble family, for at least the next 6 years, will have a say in what kind of deal gets done.
So there you have it. Tech really back in play. And zinc, of course, is a big part of their arsenal, but all the hype, all the excitement is about copper right now.
Yeah, really interesting stuff, Andy. Thanks for wrapping up all of the reaction so far today. We've got more reaction coming to you, though. Let's bring in Julian Klymochko, CEO and CIO of Accelerate Financial Technology, and an expert in the M&A space and someone who's had his eye on takeover candidates in this sector, including tech. Thanks so much for joining us today, Julian.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So what do you make of this new offer here from Glencore and the two Asian steelmakers for Teck's just for the coal business?
Yeah, listen, there's nothing wrong with second place, so they get a nice silver medal. Certainly the $23 billion plus on block transaction for all of Teck that was speculated to be potentially occurring earlier this year. Granted, that was on an unsolicited basis, not happening. So the second place prize is just this $9 billion coal transaction, which Glencore shareholders will extract value from. And unfortunately for Teck shareholders, they're not getting the best deal, which is a complete takeover and associated takeover premium for their shares. However, coming down the pipe could be a return of capital from this coal sale, whether that be share repurchases or special dividend. In addition, perhaps it's setting up Teck for a takeover down the road as a pure play metals company. That being said, this $9 billion coal sale to Glencore is certainly significantly better than the initial Elk Valley Resources spinoff proposal, which was rejected by shareholders as it really didn't make any sense.
So do you think it comes down to the price tag, why we're seeing such a muted reaction in the shares? We did see them jump initially out of the gate up more than 5%. I think it was even around 8% at the start of the trading day, but now trading fairly flat at this point. What do you make of the reaction?
Certainly, the valuation was nothing to write home about, roughly 3 times pre-tax profits. So it seems like Glencore is getting a pretty sweet deal, and their shareholders are going to capitalize on that relatively attractive valuation. And there wasn't a lot of clarity with respect to what is Teck going to do with that cash and the capital return. Although mentioned, there really was no details provided. So I think somewhat a bit of a letdown for Teck shareholders. However, with the stock approximately flat, it's not the end of the world by any means.
Yeah, what do you think investors could expect in terms of that return of capital?
So like I said, there's a lot of uncertainty. They didn't really clarify at all. All they said was indicating that it would be substantial. So whether that's a partial tender offer for the shares, a special dividend, that could be in the single-digit billions of dollars, which would be relatively nice for shareholders, but it won't be significant in the context of this being a $24 billion company.
So with your M&A hat on there, Julian, when you're thinking about Teck as more of a copper play now at this point, do you think that there could be companies interested in taking over Teck as, the more simplified version?
That's a great question. Now, one major hurdle is Investment Canada, which that approval would be required for any significant takeover, especially Teck. Note that in the initial unsolicited or hostile approach from Glencore for all of Teck Resources, there is substantial pushback from various levels of the Canadian government. So it really depends on what type of company and where they're from, if that would be allowed. And then the dual share class structure is in place for several more years. So there's a number in place in the near term, and Glencore does have that 2-year standstill agreement as well, preventing them from doing another deal with Teck. So lots of things to consider there.